voice of God calls us to awaken him. How will he find us when he comes?
Awake and ready.
And when he asks us to dedicate ourselves ever more perfectly to him, how will he find us?
Awake and ready.
Let's pray together. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
great Masters,
great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Paramahansa Yoganandaji,
Paramahansa Yoganandaji,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
we humbly bow to you all.
we humbly bow to you all.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
open our hearts,
open our hearts,
flood our lives,
flood our lives
with your presence.
with your presence.
Help us to see
Help us to see
only you
only you
in each other,
In
each other,
in everything around us.
In
everything around us.
We are your children.
We are your children.
Bring us home
Bring us home
in this lifetime.
in this lifetime.
Om.
Om.
Peace.
Peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Rama was a ruler's son long ago, long ago. Sita was his wife so fair, truly she his life did share, though much suffering she won long ago, long ago. Ramo Sitaram. Rama's father banished him far from home, far from home. All alone the woods to roam, Sita gladly shared his doom. Thus his sorrow soon grew dim, far from home, far from home. Ramo Sitaram. Homeless wanderers were they, many years, many years. Raised in silken marble halls, now they slept by waterfalls. For their beds they gathered hay, many years, many years. Ramo Sitaram. One day came an evil man, woe the hour, woe the hour. Stole Ram's wife while Ram was gone, carried her to his own home. Thus her soul's dark night began. Woe the hour, woe the hour. Ramo Sitaram. True was she, though sorely pressed, Rama's wife, Rama's wife. Long she spurned the stranger's pleas, harsh she called his life of ease. Only tested love is blessed, Rama's wife, Rama's wife. Ramo Sitaram. Ram at last did win her back, sorrows fled, sorrows fled. Soon they to their palace went, and did now Rom's banishment, ended all their years of lack. Sorrows fled, sorrows fled. Ram, Sita, Ram. But for Ram and Sita true, long ago, love was all their riches still, palace gold could never fill, hearts that heaven's laughter knew, long ago, long ago. Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita,
Continue to meditate as we listen to these words from affirmations for self-healing on openness. Openness can be a great virtue, but only when it is exercised with discrimination. To be open to wrong ideas or to people who would harm you would be foolish. For it is not with openness that error can be conquered, but with love. Openness of mind is a virtue when it is centered in the desire for truth. Openness of heart is a virtue when it is centered in love for God. Both mind and heart, however, need filters to screen out what is not true and what is not of God. This we can do by referring back for approval to the divine presence within whatever comes to us. We must be ever open to the truth and to God, but ever closed, or at least indifferent to error and delusion. Let's affirm together with a strong, vigorous voice, taking control of the conscious mind, planting a seed in the subconscious. My mind is open to the truth, whatever its source.
My mind is open to the truth, whatever its source.
True statements remain valid.
True statements remain valid.
Even if hurled in anger.
Even if hurled in anger.
My mind is open to the truth, whatever its source.
My mind is open to the truth, whatever its source.
True statements remain valid.
True statements remain valid.
Even if hurled in anger.
Even if hurled in anger.
In a whisper, my mind is open to the truth, whatever its source. True statements remain valid. Even if hurled in anger. Now silently, my mind is open to the truth, whatever its source. True statements remain valid, even if hurled in anger. And pray silently with me. Divine Mother, let me hear thy melodies everywhere, in the laughing brooks, in the songs of nightingales, yes, even in the roar of city traffic. Behind all earthly sounds, let me listen for thy voice alone. Om. Peace. Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Thank you, Narayan. I'm Narayan. This is Dharmadevi. Welcome to our friends joining us online. I thought that affirmation is going to say that we hear you also behind the elliptifit music next door.
She's everywhere.
This is from Rays of the One Light, which are weekly commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita and the Bible. And this is, faith is a call to prayer. Prayer is a call to faith. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 7 and 21, we read, Ask,
and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Verily I say unto you, if you have faith, and doubt not, if ye shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer believing, ye shall receive. Paramahansa Yogananda showed by his own example that prayer is a power, provided we believe deeply in that power. When our thoughts and feelings are strongly focused and then united in growing awareness to the divine presence within, they can bring even seemingly unrealistic wishes to fulfillment. When Paramahansa Yogananda was in charge of this school in Ranchi, India, he took the boys on occasional outings to the surrounding countryside. There was a waterfall not far away, he told Swami Kriyananda, where I took them sometimes. It was dangerous to cross there, but I would cry out to the boys, Do you believe in God? Yes, they would shout back enthusiastically, and we always crossed in safety. Years later, after I'd gone to America, one of the teachers tried to do the same thing, but he lacked spiritual power. One of the boys slipped on a rock and was drowned. Thus, the master explained, belief alone is not enough. It must be united to one pointed awareness, which leads to self-realization. The Bhagavad Gita, in the 6th chapter, underscores the necessity for such one-pointed concentration. Whenever the mind, fickle and restless, wanders off from its concentration, let the meditating yogi withdraw it resolutely, spurning every distraction, no matter how alluring, and bring it back again and again under the control of the self. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Good morning from me as well.
Good morning.
I'd like to start with a reading from Whispers from Eternity. These are Yoganandaji's prayer demands, and this one stood out to me this morning. I will not offer unto thee mind-made hothouse songs. I will sing a song uninfluenced by the voice of any other. I will offer thee my own pristine heart melodies. I will sing thee a song unheard by any. I have nurtured this song child myself. Now I bring it to thee for higher training. I will offer thee no intellectual, premeditated, art-disciplined song. What I will offer thee are the wild songs of my heart. I will offer thee not civilized, emotion-packed music or artfully cultivated song flowers, but wild blossoms that grow on the high hills of my soul. So I had a dream yesterday morning, and it was early morning, and I had a sort of disturbed sleep. And if you ever have just been trying to like go back to sleep after waking up too early, and you're sort of in that in-between state, that was sort of where I was in this dream. And in it, I was in a house that I didn't recognize, and I was looking for clothing because I needed to go somewhere to some kind of event, and I needed clothes. And I had all these clothes everywhere. They were all dirty or non-matching or something like that. So I'm, just digging through clothes, and I remember, I have clothes, I have clean clothes out in my car. So I walk out to my car. I don't know what the clothes had to do with anything. Probably something important that I'll have to figure out at some point. But I went out to my car and I opened the trunk, and there's a suitcase, and I'm looking through the suitcase, and all of a sudden, Swami Kriyananda pulls up in his car, and he's just pulled off of the side of the road to stop and get something out of his trunk. He doesn't see me. It's almost like we're on different planes of existence, but I see him, and I'm watching this scene happen. And there's a few people in the car with him, and he's talking to them, discussing something, and he gets out, he's still talking to them, and he gets something out of the trunk. He said, you know, the most important thing about the Gita is blank, right? And I hear what he said, I go, he said that for me. That was for me to hear. And so I rush back inside, I'm like, I gotta remember this. Because on some level, you know, we always know we're dreaming. It's like, that was important. Bring it back into you know, this reality here. And sure enough, I woke up as soon as I opened the door, and I completely forgot what it was. And I was so disappointed. Oh, what was that? But still, just holding on to the memory of having Swamiji in a dream is blessing enough. And so I told Narayan and Keshava about this dream, and Keshava said, oh, don't worry, it'll probably come back to you tomorrow morning, which is this morning. And there was that little part of me that was like, no, I've lost it. I just wasn't good enough to remember it. And then Narayan this morning says, he's meditating, and I sit up, and he said, I opened to this page in the Gita, and he hands it to me. And I don't know exactly what it said, but I remembered instantly what Swamiji said in the dream, which was the most important thing, the most important lesson in the Gita is overcoming discouragement. And I thought, wow, that was powerful. That was for me. And that's for all of us. Because what happens in the very first chapter, Arjuna's despair, right? Where he says, I can't do it. I can't do it, Lord. I give up. This is too hard. This is too difficult. I was writing down some notes last night and this morning, and we just, as I said, with Paul and Keshava, Narayan and I, we celebrated Diwali last night. It was beautiful, and Paul was sharing these beautiful stories from the Ramayana, never quite get the pronunciation right. But as it starts, and he's going through these stories, he said, it really sounds depressing. Like, I promise it gets better. This is a beautiful story. But, you know, time and time again, it was like, oof, this is rough. These are rough times. You know, first Rama is kicked out and Sita comes with him. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And then she's kidnapped from him. And, oh, God, this is just awful. It's terrible. And so when I was looking at my notes this morning, I said, discouragement, doubt, frustration, anger, sin. All it was like, whoa, yeah, it's rough. It's rough in the beginning. But we have to, what these ancient epics and what our own lives are telling us is we have to fight. We can't give up. What did Yogananda say? Time and time again, a saint is a sinner who never gave up. In other words, we all are or have been sinners, and we're waking up. We just have determined to not give up. And through that not giving up, we will make it. We have to make it. Even if a soul does give up in this lifetime. And what's we've seen so many, you know, giving up experiences, and it's so tragic. I remember, I think maybe Ram told me this story of one of Master's closest disciples who left. But, you know, there are a number of disciples who left that carried on his mission. But this particular disciple, something really tragic happened. And he said, I can't can't deal with this anymore. And so he decided to become a drunk and move off every morning, because he had had these deep, deep experiences of the divine and living with a God-realized master. Can you imagine? And he said, I can't take it anymore. I give up. And so every morning, instead of his meditation, he would just get himself completely drunk to escape reality. And that was how he died. And when I heard that story, it just broke my heart. I mean, for weeks, it would pop back in my mind, I'd just start sobbing. But why? Because we've all done it, right? We've all given up. And this is the life that we say, never again will I give up. Never, no matter what happens. We just have to keep going. And, it's interesting because the ego will even try to trick us into what is giving up and what's not. Because, I had a challenging day yesterday, and instantly my ego said, this isn't right, just go home, just forget it, just get out of here. And I'm like, God, yeah, I really want to do that. I just want to go and wallow in sorrow. But luckily it wasn't that long before I said, no, I can't give up. It doesn't matter what's happening to my body. I could be just incapacitated, but I can still put one foot in front of the other and do what I know I'm supposed to do right now. And that is not to run and hide, right? Many times, it's easy for some people to stand up here and give a Sunday service talk. That's instantly what my mind goes to. Whenever rough times come, it's like, just get Narayan to do Sunday service. You can't deal with that right now. That's just too much. And I'm like, no, that's exactly what I need to do. God will give me the words to say. Who cares? We're all devotees. We're all truth seekers. How discouragement, because I was thinking about, the greatest lesson from the Gita, overcoming discouragement. How does discouragement weave its little tendrils in there? Well, the greatest, I think, of all is doubt. And doubt is an agent of Satan. It's an agent of darkness that gets into our hearts. I've felt doubt before. And it's one thing when the doubt comes from within, and it's another thing when the doubt is planted by someone else. Luckily, the doubt planted by someone else is a little more easy to distinguish. But we had a friend who, just, again, it's somewhat sad, but we all have a happy ending. Master said all souls will get there. He said, no doubt about it. We all will get there. But this particular soul, Narayan especially, was very close to, and he decided not only was he going to leave the path, but he was going to try to take everyone else with him. And so I had been on the East Coast traveling, visiting my family, and I had said to Narayan, just have some space from this person. He's going through a really rough time. And he said, yeah, I know, I agree. And this is partly why a spiritual bodyguard is very helpful on the path, because, you can, when one is starting to go down a bit of a slippery slope, you can go, that looks really treacherous. Why don't we go this way instead? And so Narayan had been in this environment of, this friend, and caring deeply for this friend. And I came back, he picked me up from the airport, and he said, I think I'm going to go have dinner with blank. And I said, really? I thought you had decided that wasn't a good idea at this point. And he said, well, read these messages that he sent me. And so I picked it up. I start reading. It was like 60 text messages, just huge. It was a book. And but I started to read it, and I felt like a snake crawling through my heart. And I threw the phone down. I was like, that's the devil. That is Satan. I'm not like a, big Bible pusher that's like, it's Satan, but it was just evil. And it was coming through that person. And, there's nothing, and it was in regards to Swami Kriyananda. And it was trying to plant that seed of doubt to say, he's not what you think he is. Just that little insidious kind of nastiness. But luckily, he was like, whoa, you're right. that was good. I'm glad you saw that. But, so doubt comes in a lot of forms, and it's always to take us off of the path. So when you have doubts, Swami himself said, I was riddled with doubts, and Master Yogananda told him, in your past life, you were just eaten up by doubt. And he said, but in this life, he experienced every doubt imaginable so that he could help others who were going through similar doubts and lift that doubt and say, you don't have to fear anything anymore. You don't. Look, it's okay. You can keep going. You can turn that doubt. He said the cure for the doubt, because he went through a period when he was with Yogananda of feeling this doubt just bombarding his mind. And he's like, how can I get rid of this? And the only cure for it was love. And he said, I love my master, I love my guru. And all the doubts just cleared like the sunshine on a cloudy day. Those doubts were just blocking out his love. And he said, no, love is what's real. So I just want to finish up on doubt, because, when we experience doubt ourselves, it's to teach us, like Swamiji, to teach us how to encourage others out of their doubt. We grow stronger through having doubts, and we say, this isn't serving me anymore. How can I rise above this doubt? And then we see others who are going through similar things, and we say, you know what, that's not going to help you. Come on, you can get out of that. You don't need that doubt. That's a nasty doubt. Let's go. Let's keep moving forward and onward and upward. So it's bad to feel it in yourself, because it feels bad, right? It's not like this is good and this is bad. It's bad because it pulls our energy down. It doesn't feel good, right? But when we take that doubt and we say, you know what, I don't want to deal with this doubt. I want to put it on others. I want them to be at the same level as me, right? It works the same way as anything. I feel insignificant. Look, that person looks really confident, so I'm going to just bring them down to my level, right? And we cut people's heads off. But doubt is the same way. It says, I don't feel good, and I don't want anybody else to feel good either, right? So that's just a higher octave of how that negativity sinks in there. When you feel doubt in yourself, then say, I have to get rid of this. I have to rise above this. Don't let it out. Don't let it out to anyone. To anyone. Say, this is mine to deal with. And we can deal with it. And remember that a saint is a sinner who never gave up, because we've all done this. We've all done it a million times. And right to say, oh, I failed. I'm a horrible person. It doesn't work. It doesn't help anything. We just say, I made a mistake. A friend of ours who was in the Raja Yoga class, he said, I looked it up in the dictionary, and sin actually means mistake. And I went to all these different spiritual teachers and I said, you're preaching about sin and how we shouldn't sin and how awful it is and these terrible cardinal sins and other not so bad sins. And it sounds like something so much more than a mistake. And they said, oh no, it means mistake. It's like, wow. Well, that's just what it is. It's just a mistake. And if we don't fuel that so much and say, oh, it's a mistake and I'll never improve, I'll never be better, then we never, well, eventually we will. Because eventually we break through it. But why not now, right? Why not just say, that was a mistake, it's done, let's keep going, onward and upward, Master. We were watching a movie of St. Francis, and it was not a great movie of St. Francis, I'll be honest. But what was beautiful and inspiring was hearing about the life of St. Francis. And maybe you've heard a beautiful prayer, and I believe I heard that it actually came from William the Conqueror that he then shared. But that line, where there's hatred, let me sow love, right? So you can think of that as the remedy for any doubt, any suspicion, any negative quality, is to sow seeds of love. How can I turn this negative in myself into a positive for others? And in that selflessness, we just transform ourselves into something beautiful. I would like to, for myself, and I invite you, if you feel inspired to too, to take this vow to turn any negativity towards anyone and turn it in on ourselves first, and then say, I'm not that either, and offer it all up, but taking this vow to let go of criticism, especially of our Guru Bhais. We're here to help and support each other. So take that vow, if you feel to, and let go of any negativity, any animosity towards anyone, and replace that little burr that you've just pulled out of your heart, flood it with love, flood it with divine love, and let that love spread out to everyone. God bless you.
Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere, love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and be gay. Often on earth, things of great worth, worldly ambitions defy. Sometimes a friend helps us ascend up from life's cares to the sky. Love is a star, though shining afar, it can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh. Love is a star, though shining afar, it can guide us and help us